Welcome to Media is My Business. Today we're going to talk about television ministry. I'm going to give you 7 points to start a television ministry. This information is good. I've been in the industry of television ministry in the church for over 30 plus years. So today I'm going to share with you the pointers on how to have a successful television ministry. We're going to talk today about television ministry. You know, I've been in the industry about 35 years plus, 35 years, and I've worked in television ministry for 14 years full-time as a television production operation manager at Bahamas Faith Ministries International, where the late Dr. Miles Monroe and Dr. Richard Pinder were pastors, and working under their leadership, was really awesome. And so today I want to talk about television ministry. That's all I know. Media is my business. Yes, I've worked both television news station in the Bahamas, top news stations as a television producer for TV shows, technical director, switcher. I've worked in news, being the first photojournalist in the Caribbean in the region. And so I have a little knowledge under my belt, and I'm capable of sharing with you how to start a television ministry. And I hope this will be informative for you and you who wants to start a television ministry. So let's get started. But before we get started, I want to give you 5 guidelines that will help your ministry, your television ministry, when you're getting started. 5 guidelines. 1, vision. Make sure you have a vision. 2, a mission statement. 3, the purpose of the television ministry. 4, goals. 5, prayer. These 5 guidelines for starting your television ministry is very important. You have to have a vision. Very important when you're starting a television ministry. Not just a vision for the church, but a vision for the television media department. That's very important. Just like how you have a vision for children's church, the singles ministry, the youth department, the usher board. You need to have a vision for each one. But make sure you have a vision for your television department. A mission statement. Give your reason. Why? This is your mission for the television department. Very important. The purpose. Give reason for purpose. Goals. Have a 1-year goal as you start off. 5 years, 10, 15, 20. Make sure you have a goal or goals written on paper. Why you want to start a television ministry. What do you expect to achieve? What is the accomplishment? Besides saying we just want to reach the world, we just want to preach the kingdom of God. Television ministry is way bigger than that. So set your goals. Number 5, to the bottom, but it's very important, prayer. Have an intercessor in your prayer ministry to just focus on the television department. Very, very, very important. Those 5 guidelines, you cannot go wrong with starting your television ministry. So, let's get started. 7 points to start a television ministry. The first point we're going to talk about is financial backing. If you do not have the financial backing, do not start. Television in itself is very expensive, very high in maintenance, from equipment to paying staff to maintenance. It's very expensive. And so if you're going to, make sure the finances is in place. And one of the points in starting it, like I said, is if you don't have any finances, no financial backing, do not start. And one of the points in the 7 points, you have A. If you're going to start, make sure you start with a partner or partners. Offer shares, get shareholders, have pledges, offering, and make sure the finances is in place. Because most of the times you have ministries want to start television ministry and they don't have the first penny to put towards it. This is what they say. Well, God, God is going to provide. I've had so many people call me internationally and locally to speak to their television department or want me to train or how to set up their television ministry. First thing I ask, I'd be like, what is your budget? How are you funding it? Like I said, they say, we're going to pray and God is going to send the finances. I can't knock that, but at the same time, remember he said in the back of 2, write it down, make it plain, and present it before God. Now, I also ask them if they have a vision. What's the vision? Can't tell me so. But the first point, if you don't have the funds to start a television ministry, please don't start. Unless, again, if you have partnership, shareholders, pledges, offerings, then you could. Partnership. The members, go to them, present your vision on paper, say to them, this is what we would like to do, and we want you to be a part of it. Make them feel a part. And when you make people feel a part, you'll be surprised to know what they would come up to help you with financially. Same thing with shareholders. Shareholders could also be the partners, not necessarily people, the members. You present the vision, and you sell the vision to people, and you say, this is what we want to do as a ministry, and we believe starting a television ministry will be one of the tools that can help us reach the world, the nation, win souls. So offer shares to people outside of ministry. That would be good. Also pledges, have people pledge and make commitment to pay the pledges. Offering is another thing. You can say, well, you can give this month, you could give that month, you could give this amount. Make different levels. You can start at $5. Don't put the basket so high that you have people, if they want to give into the television ministry or starting of a television ministry, it's too high. Start from $5, 10, give it up. I know a church, they call it gifted givers. Have different titles and all of that so they can also be a part of it. The next point is the right facilities and infrastructure. That is so important. You need the right facility and the right infrastructure. The building have to be the right acoustics and treatment, definitely for television and for sound. The ceiling level for lighting, the rig, the fixture, have to be on point. So when you're building your church and you have in the plan to have a television studio and television ministry, these points are very important. The ceiling level, the lighting for the rig fixture, they all play an important role when starting a television ministry. Speakers, positioning, all of that you have to think about. You have to walk well. Cable to run through the pipes and underground, all of that is very important. Sound booth for the audio engineer, the stage, the platform, the above ground level, all of this play an important role in starting a television ministry. Don't be like some ministries I know. There was a particular ministry called me in for consultant work, and they said to me, well, we want to start a television ministry, or they have already started, but they want to advance it, and this is what they want to do. So I went in, walked around, look, the structure itself was a no-no when they were billing. And I was like, did you all decide to start a television ministry after you bill? Because when I asked them for the rig fixture for the lighting, they didn't have it in place. When I asked them for the pipes to run through underground, for the cable, for audio, for the TV cables, everything, the CCU cables, they didn't have it. But yet they wanted this dynamic work for me to help them set up a television ministry, but they didn't have it. And then they were shooting, when you're shooting video, everything's supposed to be eye level, same eye level. They were shooting down. Their shots were down, and I was like, in the proper measurement of shooting video or eye level, I was like, wow, and I told them, and they continued. Apparently they continued in shooting it that way. Lighting, same thing, didn't have any lighting. They were just using the regular available ceiling lights. They didn't have television lighting. The audio was fine. But everything go hand in hand. Video go hand in hand with audio. Bad audio, people ain't gonna watch bad videos, same thing. But two, like I said, the right facility and infrastructure is very important when you're building. Make sure when you're building, speak with the architect and let him know, hey, we also want to do a television studio. When you're doing that, have the architect meet with the television person who you have setting up your television studio, and let them give them the right acoustics, the information, the statistics that they need in starting a television ministry. That's very important. That's number two. Number three, the right equipment that meets the FCC standard. That's the Federal Communication Commission. That's very important also. Camera, broadcast quality with video in and output. You have to make sure you have the SDI, that's serial digital interface, HDMI, that's high definition multiple interface, HD, so forth and so forth. You have to make sure the right audio, microphone, wireless microphone, lavaliers, 16 or more audio channel board, very important. Your control room as monitors, audio board, recording machines, DVD, VTR, the switches, the video hard drive, all of these things play a very important role in you starting a television ministry. Equipment is very important. Equipment is very expensive. And I've learned over the years in television, whether it be secular or church ministry, it's the same. Equipment is the same across the board. There's no such thing as church equipment or secular equipment. Equipment is equipment. And technology, for some reason in the television industry, seems to be changing every 6 to 12 months. When you think you are locked in with the equipment, it's always changing. So have someone in your media ministry knowledgeable with equipment, keeping up with the standards, keeping up with FCC information, and making sure that everything is in par, and you can't go wrong there. Number 4, make a plea for your media department and production crew. Get the best quality people. Get the best quality people. You know what I've learned in this industry? That because it's church, we believe that we could pay people to the lowest standard, but we want the best from them. We believe that in church anybody could do anyone's job. And that's not so. What to do? Find out, make a plea. When I was at Bahamas Faith Ministries International, and when I started in the television ministry, the late Dr. Miles Monroe brought in a professional, and he came in there and he trained us to teach, trained us to the point where we started off with a large crew, and then it dwindled down because it was theory and it was practical, and everybody was more interested in the practical, but you had to learn the theory. And that's another thing too, when you're training your people, make sure they get practical and theory. That theory is very important because they have to have an appreciation to know how they're operating and working with the equipment that they do. And so I always advise people, train your ministry of works in the television ministry. That's very important. When you're putting people on camera, let them know the equipment that they're working with. Let them understand the lens, the viewfinder, the cable. Let them understand the equipment that they're working with. Teach them the theory and then put them on for the practical practice. Make a plea. Make sure you get qualified persons in the area. Even if you have 2 qualified persons and then you have 10, that's fine. A, select team. Camera operator, audio engineer, VTR operator, floor manager, grip, PowerPoint, IT, marketing, photographer, script writer, video editor, announcer. All of these is a part of television ministry. Again, select a team. When you're selecting a team, a camera operator, audio engineer, VTR operator, floor manager, grip, PowerPoint, IT, marketing, photographer, script writer, video editor, announcer, etc., etc., and goes on. Share the vision with the organization in the media department. That's very important. Share the vision. Once you could share the vision and sell it to them, you'll be surprised to know the team that you will get. Excellent point. Share the vision of the organization or the church in the media department. Training is a must. Training, I said earlier, it's a must. Training. Practical, hands-on, great. But theory first. Teach them the principles of media, from audio to camera operating to light to graphics to everything. Training is important. Another thing what to do is do not burn out the few persons that you have in your media department. Make a roster. When I was at Bahamas Faith Ministry, I had a roster. I had a roster in place where I had 3 sets of crews that I alternate. If this one worked this week, the next shift worked the next week. So it's almost like they worked once a month. But I made sure I put a roster in place, made everybody feel comfortable, make everybody feel important. No one is better than this one. But there are times when you would have, when you would have persons who are stronger than the other. You would know which one, how to make them all feel valuable, but you have the points there. Allow them to be a part of the church service too. Like I said, that's again coming when you put them in roster. Give them opportunity to sit in service, to get fed, to get ministered to enjoy praise and worship, to enjoy the teaching, and in doing that, they will show more appreciation in the ministry that they're in. Also, have incentives in place for your workers. Don't just work them and don't just try to sell them, but no, you're working for the Lord. You're doing work for the Lord. Yeah. Please, show initiatives, give them incentives. Treat them out to lunch, treat them out to dinner, buy gifts. I used to get up extra early on Sunday mornings, and I used to prepare breakfast for my crew. It came out of my pocket. I mentioned it to the board, and they were like, it's not in our budget. But what I did, I said, okay, no problem. I went in my pocket personally, and I would bless them. And then I would have 1 or 2 other females who were part of the teams. They would fix stuff, and they would bring it, and made the team feel good. We were like a family, because we didn't just meet during the services. We met. I would organize a little get-togethers at one of the homes. Even at the time, one time we asked the late Dr. Miles Monroe if we could have a social at his house, and he said yes. And he was a part of it, and he spoke, and he said how he appreciated the media department and how the media department is a very important ministry in the church. The most important ministry in the church, because the media department is responsible for getting out the kingdom of God and the gospel message to the world. And he showed appreciation. I would do incentives at who do the best job or who shoot the best will get an incentive of a video. That's what part of the gifts, and it was a good team. I really appreciate them so much, but, life continues. Number 5, let the expert point you in the right direction. Don't try to start a ministry, television ministry by yourself and you don't know nothing. If you're the pastor of the church or the bishop or the deacon or whatever title you have, but you just know how to pastor, and if you have someone in your church, and even if they're not in your church, go out there and find them. You know what God said in the scriptures? Learn from the world. Even if you have to bring someone in outside and to show you how to set up or start a television ministry, do that. Listen to me. Listen unto me, like one of my friends would say. Don't be a fool. If you don't have any information or no one in your church yet, reach out and get someone to direct you in the right direction. I always say seek advice from those who've been in the industry long than you've been. Very long. Go online and check out the cost of starting, what equipment is best for your organization. Check out the other ministries or organizations who had been in the field for more than 10 years. Do that. Don't be prideful. Go out. If you go to Bahamas Faith Ministries, go to a few other ministries. I keep calling Bahamas Faith Ministries BFM because that's the church that I was. Actually, Bahamas Faith Ministries International was the first church in the Caribbean to start a television ministry by Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. We are pace setters. And so, because he started it, everybody else started that. And so, I would go there and get advice, and find out, it's very expensive, that's all I could say. Um, Annually, I had to prepare a budget for the board and the leadership when they would ask what I need to run the television ministry. It used to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Always, always. Because like I said, equipment is always changing. And so that's what happened. Number 6, dress code is must in television ministry. Dress code. Dress code is a must in any television production. It limits visual distraction in the surrounding areas where there is production going on and there is a lot of movement from the crew. Your attire, black or navy blue, but I prefer black. You can't go wrong in wearing black. Black makes you blend in. You won't be a distraction to the speaker, or excuse me, you won't be a distraction to those who are sitting in there and trying to focus on what's the message. You know, black shoes or tennis, same thing, black straight through. Our media department wore black, and Dr. Monroe liked that. I remember there was a time when the photographer had on all white. I don't know why. And he was being a distraction to Dr. Monroe because he was, he was doing his job, taking pictures. He was walking through the aisles and taking pictures. And because of the white that he had on, Dr. Monroe had to stop and he had to say, "Can you please sit down? You're distracting me in the middle of the teaching." So that left to me when it was time to edit the program or the teaching. I had to edit that part out. But black, for sure. You can't go wrong with black. If you notice, around the world, production houses, companies, film, everybody wears black. You cannot go wrong with black. So make that one of your list for attires for your crew. Let them wear black. And then you could put the logo on the shirt. You can't go wrong there. Number 7, the final point. Media ministry is a calling. It is very critical for the need of prayer and very important to seek wise counsel at the same time. Make sure have someone on the team to always be praying. Make a list of needs for the media area and pray as a team over the list. Before any production start, the team should and must pray. Listen, prayer, you cannot go wrong with prayer. Select someone. Look for that strong person who goes before God all the time. They don't even have to wait on you. Prepare a list. Give the list to the person who you will have praying. Make a list of everybody in the department from the television to audio, and the list goes on. Present their name to the person. And before you cut on those television lights, soundboard, and cameras, come together, form a circle and pray. Pray, present the television media department before the Lord. Present the service. Make sure every equipment is functioning and get started. And you should be able to do what you're supposed to do in the television ministry. My years at working in the television ministry was a great experience, and I would not trade it for the world. Working under the leadership of the late Dr. Miles Monroe, Dr. Richard Pinder, and now Dr. Dave Burris. It was a learning experience. And working under the management and operations in that television department, there were some tough days. But God was good. Shooting with Dr. Miles Monroe in the studio, it was awesome. He was natural, and I liked that. And I was able to train so many persons that came through the ministry who now are out there in the world at TV stations, starting their own production, writing films, because they came through the system and they did it the right way, And so I just want you to know that you can do it too. Once you follow these guidelines, these 7 points that I gave, you shouldn't have a problem. You should be able to go forward and start your television ministry. I hope this teaching, I hope this information was a blessing to you, and I hope it will help you and guide you in starting your television ministry.